I came home in October and found a road on my lake. Not near it, not beside it, on it. A clean strip of black asphalt slicing across the northern shelf like someone had taken a ruler and drawn a lie across my childhood. And the worst part wasn't the road, it was the sign. Private road. Authorized vehicles only. On land my father had bought before most of those houses even existed. For a full minute, I just sat there in my car, engine idling, Montana air sharp with pine and cold, staring at something that didn't belong in the world I knew. That shelf had been rocky grassland my whole life, half dry, half underwater, depending on the season. The kind of place kids skip stones and dogs chase nothing. Now it had guardrails, drainage culverts, fresh paint. It felt less like trespassing and more like someone had rewritten history while I was away. I'd been gone 2 years, wrapped up in a federal appointment in Washington, one last environmental case before retirement. I didn't rush home. I took the scenic route like always, the overlook where my father used to stop and just look at the water. That's where I first saw it, a ribbon of asphalt where memory should have been. Up close, the audacity hit harder. Professional construction, real money, real planning, and real confidence. The kind that comes from people who assume no one will stop them. I walked the full length of it, boots crunching against gravel shoulders, doing what 30 years on the federal bench trained me to do without thinking. Observing, measuring, recording. I knew the water lines on that shelf like old scars, the dark stains on limestone showing where the lake climbed every spring. The road sat maybe 12 feet above the current water line, which sounded safe if you didn't know the lake. But I did. By late February, that shelf floods. Every year, like clockwork. By March, it disappears. By April, you could park a boat where that road stood. That's when the feeling shifted from disbelief to something quieter. Not anger. Not yet. Just inevitability. I checked the county GIS records on my phone right there on the shoulder. My property boundary glowed back at me in neat digital lines. The entire road sat inside it. Every inch. No permits. No easements. No calls. Someone hadn't just crossed a boundary. They'd erased it. The Summit Ridge Clubhouse looked exactly like you'd expect. Timber beams, mountain views, luxury pretending to be rustic. The kind of place where people drink expensive coffee and talk about community values while outsourcing everything that actually builds one. His name was on the door in brass. Preston Calloway. He stood when I walked in, smooth, polished, mid-40s, expensive haircut. The smile was practiced, the kind lawyers use when they think they're already winning. "You built a road on my property," I said. He didn't even flinch. Just leaned back like I told him it might rain later. "Ma'am," he said, and that word landed heavier than the rest. "I think you may be confused about the boundaries." Confused. After 30 years as a federal judge. After growing up on land my father carved into a lake with his own hands. I corrected him, gently at first, then not so gently. Deeds, surveys, permits, 67 years of documentation. The smile changed shapes a few times, but it never left. Condescension has stamina. When I mentioned my judicial career, the room shifted. Just a flicker, but he recovered fast. Men like Preston don't retreat. They reframe. "Have your attorney call mine," he said finally. I left my card on his desk, the one with the old title still printed under my name. Outside, I sat in my car longer than I meant to. Not because I didn't know what to do, but because I did. On the drive home, something else nagged at me. Little signs posted along the road I'd almost ignored. Road Maintenance District, monthly assessment active, charging people to maintain a road built on land he didn't own. That wasn't arrogance. That was math. I called Nathan that night, former law clerk, now with the EPA, one of the sharpest minds I'd ever mentored. I described the road, the flood shelf, the permits that didn't exist. He was quiet a long moment. "Judge," he finally said, "does that lake connect to a navigable water system?" It did. The Clark Fork watershed, which meant federal jurisdiction. And suddenly the road wasn't just trespassing. It was illegal in 3 different directions. We talked through the implications: Clean Water Act violations, Army Corps permits, unpermitted fill material. His voice shifted from curiosity to something closer, to awe. "What are you going to do?" he asked. I looked at my father's old damn manual sitting open beside me. "Nothing dramatic," I said. "Just follow my maintenance schedule." Every February 15th, like clockwork, I opened the spillway gates. My father wrote that procedure in 1962, winter ice management controlled flow increase. Routine, documented, boring. But water has a way of turning boring into consequences. February arrived cold and clear. The kind of Montana morning where the mountains look painted and the air feels like glass in your lungs. I logged the procedure exactly as always. Called the county office. Notified them. Turned the wheel 16 revolutions counterclockwise. The gates opened. The lake began to rise. Not fast. Never fast. Water is patient. It creeps, seeps, persuades. By day 3, the markers showed the climb. By day 5, the ground beneath the road was already wet, dark patches spreading under culverts that had been installed by someone who clearly understood asphalt, but not hydrology. Then the phone rang. Sheriff's office. Vehicles stranded in water. When I arrived, it looked like a low-budget disaster movie. Firefighters and waiters. 2 cars sitting helpless in 18 inches of icy water. Deputies taking notes. And Preston, pacing, furious, pointing like he could scold the lake into retreat. When he saw me, recognition flashed followed by something sharper. "You did this," he said. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't need to. "I conducted routine dam maintenance," I said calmly. "Same date. Same procedure. Every year." He accused me of weaponizing water, of planning it. I let him talk. Then I told him the truth he'd never bothered to learn. "This shelf floods every February," I said. "If anyone endangered those drivers, it wasn't me. It was the man who paved over a lake." That was the first crack. The county investigation followed fast. No permits, no easements, nothing. Once the Army Corps got involved, the dominoes started falling in federal time. Slow, steady, unstoppable. Then came the twist I hadn't even been looking for. The money. 3 homeowners had already filed complaints. Maintenance fees, $200 a month per household. 2 years' worth. The forensic accountant did the math. $864,000 collected. Paid to a construction company owned by Preston. Then siphoned through fake consulting invoices to his own law firm. He hadn't just built an illegal road. He'd built a business model on it. That was the moment the story stopped being about land and started being about people. Real people. Families who skipped vacations. Parents who delayed college savings. All funding a lie poured in asphalt. And that's when karma stopped feeling abstract. The lawsuits stacked up fast after that. Civil suits, bar investigations, federal referrals. The EPA moved. The FBI followed. And for the first time since I met him, Preston stopped smiling. He tried to settle. Low at first, then higher. Eventually he agreed to pay. Money wasn't the point, but acknowledgement mattered. Still, consequences have momentum once they start rolling. The grand jury indictment came in April. Wire fraud, embezzlement, false statements, pages of cold, clinical language describing choices that had once been hidden behind charm and cufflinks. By summer, the road was being ripped out piece by piece. I watched from the hillside, with binoculars and coffee, the way my father used to watch storms roll in. Asphalt lifted, guardrails hauled away, culverts pulled like bad teeth. By August, it was gone, just raw earth and silence. In September, he pleaded guilty. In December, he was sentenced, 4 years in federal prison, restitution ordered, law license suspended, firm dissolved. A life built on confidence unraveled by paperwork and patience. I wasn't in the courtroom. I was home, on the porch, watching snow fall across Lake Voss. The northern shelf lay under a clean white blanket, untouched except by wind and memory. And here's the truth that settled in me that winter. Not all at once, but slowly, the way wisdom usually arrives. You don't always have to fight people. Sometimes all you have to do is stop protecting them from consequences. Preston didn't fall because I pushed him. He fell because he built something illegal and expected the world to rearrange itself around his confidence. He thought power meant speed, that whoever moved fastest won. But the law doesn't move fast. It moves last. And when it arrives, it brings receipts. The restoration work finished the following fall. Native grasses replanted, creek banks repaired, shoreline reshaped to match photographs from the 1970s. Standing there months later, you couldn't tell a road had ever existed. Just wind through blue stem grass and the sound of water breathing against rock. The new Homeowners Association even donated money to watershed restoration, a quiet apology written in action instead of words. Life settled back into something that felt like truth again. Now every February, I still open the dam gates. Same date, same wheel, same sound of water deepening below the spillway. The lake rises, the shelf floods, the seasons keep their promises. And sometimes, standing there, I think about how easily all of this could have gone differently. If I'd yelled, if I'd rushed, if I tried to win instead of letting the truth surface on its own. Patience isn't weakness. It's leverage with a longer fuse. I never raised my voice, never threatened, never chased him through courts or cameras. I just opened a gate and let reality do what it always does. By the time spring came, the road was gone, the shoreline was healed, and the man who thought he could pave over consequences was packing for prison. And I still think about that question sometimes, the one people keep asking me. Was it justice or was it revenge dressed up as patience? Because depending on where you stand, it might look like either. So I'll leave you with this. If someone builds something wrong on your life, do you tear it down yourself, or do you step back and let the truth flood it? I'm curious where you land on that. Tell me, was what happened here justice, karma, or something in between? And if you've ever watched consequences catch up to someone without lifting a finger, I'd really like to hear that story.